In 2012, Virgin Island residents, businesses, and government facilities have been going solar like never before. The federally funded EnergyOffice grants that help fund many solar energy projects are no longer available. But even without rebates, some solar photovoltaic PV dealers in the Virgin Islands report that business remains brisk and residents continue to call and ask how they can get PV systems installed at their homes. Here is what one vendor says about doing business.
Pete Rosen with Pro Solar Systems. We're here in the Virgin Islands, new home. Company's been located here for about 8 months. We've gotten 10 installations on the Virgin Islands, both commercial and residential. This system here is a 20 kW system that we did for Island View Guest House. Great system, should take about 80 to 90% of their WAPA bill, and they're not going to be paying that anymore. Enjoy working with the WAPA and VI EnergyOffice. I kind of came here thinking that we're going to have some trouble getting permits and getting labor working and things like that. Everything has been great. Costs of my systems have been coming down for two reasons. Panels have gotten less expensive, but also my installations have gotten cheaper due to the ease of doing business in the Virgin Islands.
As many net metering projects are now routinely approved in 1 month, as were approved in the first 2 years of that program. The economics of having a PV system in the Virgin Islands looks better all the time. After all, once the system is paid for, the power generated is pretty well free.
I'm Akil Deshwal, General Manager, Gallows Point Resort. We installed the solar panels back in September last year, 15 panels, and we're producing around 180 kilowatt per month. We did this for the environment, because we want to be environment-friendly resort. So we did it mostly for the green
I have
reasons.
seen my meter run backwards. We're doing the net metering also. I'm very happy with the installation so far.
While the initial investment remains a problem for some, the amount of upfront capital needed to go solar has gotten smaller since the initiation of the net metering program in the territory a little over 5 years ago. Also, the announcement of the closing of Avenza has sparked additional interest in alternative energy. Kelly Clogger, Managing Partner, Solar Delivered, says, "We have seen a quadrupling of monthly sales since the January announcement that the Avenza refinery would be closing." Gary Odwani, CEO of Eco Innovation, says, "Systems have come down so much in price that the rebate does not make any difference anymore." He adds that he believes the rebate program was to get solar businesses off the ground and that it accomplished that.
You have to have a rebate. You really have to do this investment. And so we're going to start collecting the numbers from our loan, from our grant program, from the people who got rebates, from all those other projects out there, so we can start showing people that this is an investment you need to make. This is something you need to do. I often tell people, here in the Virgin Islands, we have to start thinking about the cost of doing nothing. You know, the Florida Solar Power, they had this whole video that I saw, and it was about the cost of doing nothing. We don't understand that as much as we should. But to say that I can't afford a PV system or a solar system and don't get it, and then or retrofit your business, and then have your WAPA bill increasing and increasing, there is a cost to doing nothing. And you're going to pay that every month, and you're going to pay it every year. So we just have to start looking and have to start showing people that how these projects work. And I think that's our job in the Energy Office over the next year as we change our office, is showing people how these projects work. How they work for them, how they're going to make them money, how they're going to save money on it, and how it's a good investment.
WAPA must set limits on renewable generation because of the need to maintain the stability of the power distribution system as increasing levels of renewables are brought online. Unlike traditional sources of energy, which are constantly available or dispatchable, wind and solar resources are intermittent in nature. Instead of buying batteries for storage, residents in the net metering program can send excess power to the Water and Power Authority and retrieve it when they need it, essentially using WAPA as their battery. About 100 residents are now taking part in the net metering program. The program is limited to 20 kilowatt systems for residential customers and 100 kilowatt systems for commercial customers. In the aggregate, WAPA is allowing net metering systems to total 5 megawatts on St. Croix and 10 megawatts on St. Thomas. So when the wind doesn't blow or the sun doesn't shine, keeping the lights on becomes more of a challenge, especially for small island electrical grids.
From Eco Innovations, this is our latest job. It consists of 28 panels times 240 watts, about a 7K system. 2 different strings. It has produced up to 42 kilowatt hours in a day. And as you can see, the homeowner has decided to really strengthen up around it and make sure that it's super strong. We have used 3-inch piping. We're down 4.5 feet in concrete. This is one of the, if not the best performing system on St. Croix for what it is.
Presently, those 5 megawatt and 10 megawatt limits seem a long way off, but they may well become a concern for WAPA in a year or two. Just 6 years ago, the Nature Conservancy's 7.9 kilowatt PV system in Little Princess on St. Croix was the largest in the Virgin Islands. Now it is not even close. Installation of systems larger than 8 kilowatts seem to have become almost a weekly event in the islands. Something else new for residents of the Virgin Islands is that with just a couple clicks of the mouse, they can get real-time data on how PV systems are producing in the Virgin Islands. The EnergyOffice website, www.vienergy.org, has links to those different sites. One site is called the M-Phase Energy. It has information on 24 different solar installations in the Virgin Islands. The information includes present power production and the history of power production at each site. Also displayed is information about how much pollution is being reduced by using the solar panels instead of burning fossil fuel to produce power. People concerned about the environment may be pleasantly surprised by how much carbon offset their neighbors have achieved. For people who want to know how much power is being produced by the largest PV system in the islands, the one at the Cyril E. King Airport on St. Thomas, they can also find a link to that information on the EnergyOffice website. This system is estimated to produce enough electricity to save the Port Authority roughly $900 a day on its WAPA bill. Another site that is linked on the VI Energy webpage is the Montessori Academy on St. Thomas. Its website incorporates the data from its PV system and uses it as a learning tool. Students at the St. Croix Educational Complex will also have such a tool available to them when they return to classes in the fall. One World Sustainable is donating almost a 2 kilowatt PV system that will not only generate electricity for the school, but will be used as a learning tool. For more information on renewable energy options and other Virgin Islands energy issues, call the EnergyOffice at 713-8436 on St. Croix or 714-8436 on St. Thomas or St. John. A recent installation went in at the Housing Authority's Louis E. Brown Villas in Paradise on St. Croix. It is expected to be all connected and producing about $200 a day worth of electricity.
And Peter Seitz from All Rounder Systems. We've installed a 100 kW photovoltaic array here at the Louis E. Brown Phase 1 project that is going to be supplying electricity for the pump room and for the clubhouse and for various other electric needs for the Carlisle Development Group, who's in charge of the project here. This is a grid-tied, not directly to WAPA, but it's tied into the electric system with the Louis E. Brown